News starts right now.
COVID-19 vaccines are here in San Antonio, but even a medical worker on the front lines can end up wondering when they'll get one and how.
We spoke with one such doctor who was left worrying about what to do. Garrett Berger tells us about her dilemma.
So how many COVID tests have we set today?
Every day, pediatrician Dr. Jeannie Lovett says her private practice, Priority Pediatrics, usually tests in the neighborhood of 5 to 10 patients for COVID-19.
Just knowing that I have a family at home, I live in the same household as my 77-year-old mom, and had been very excited to get the vaccine.
Lovett, who's an affiliate provider through North Central Baptist and has been receiving text messages from the Baptist health system about vaccinations, believes she and hopefully her staff would get vaccinated through Baptist. But when she reached out on Friday, she says she heard back that affiliates weren't being offered the vaccine at that point, and her medical staff would be notified if office staff were included in future allotments. That worried her.
They see patients, they're the ones doing the tests. They're in the room often as much as I am in the room.
A state spokesman says both tiers of the first priority group, which Lovett and her medical staff would seem to fall into, are eligible to get the vaccine. If they aren't getting it through their own workplace, the spokesman said, the vaccines are going out to a wider variety of providers this week. In Bexar County alone, more than 40 H-E-B pharmacies are supposed to get doses. And the company says healthcare providers will be able to schedule appointments to get the vaccine through them. And with Christmas coming and a possible wave of new exposures after it, Lovett is eager to get vaccinated.
And just the sooner that I can get the vaccine and have that protection, the more comfortable I will feel.
Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
We reached out to Baptist Health System today about Dr. Lovett's case. They told us in part that they have been focused on hospital-based staff, doctors, and providers with direct inpatient activity, and they were continuing to assess internal capacity as well as guidelines and directives regarding the expansion to affiliate physicians. Around the same time we received that statement, Lovett said she received a link from Baptist allowing her to sign up for a vaccination. She plans to get her staff vaccinated through H-E-B. New at 6, South Texas allergy and asthma medical professionals, or STAMP, will be giving the Moderna vaccine to 500 healthcare workers this week. The Moderna vaccine was approved for emergency use authorization late Friday. STAMP says it's working with more than 20 local clinics and organizations to administer the COVID-19 vaccine. It will also be giving the shot to San Antonio school nurses. STAMP says it's one of a handful of entities on the list to get a portion of the 30,000 doses of Moderna vaccine headed for Bexar County this week. You can see the full list of other sites getting the vaccine by clicking on our website.
In Europe, a new variant of COVID-19 is surging, leading to flight bans and other restrictions. Here at home, there's now concern about how the new vaccines and other drugs previously rolled out will respond to this new strand. Dr. Douglas Denham, who oversaw Pfizer and Moderna vaccine trials at Clinical Trials of Texas here, says he's not alarmed by news of the variant because all viruses mutate. He says right now this strand does not seem to be more deadly, but it does seem to be easier to transmit.
Easier for it to get into our cells and replicate and then, infect someone else.
Dr. Denham says while research must continue, right now it appears that in addition to the vaccine, previously rolled out therapeutic drugs such as Regeneron and bamlanivimab will still be effective against this new variant.
Some San Antonio residents are getting some extra protection in the fight against the spread of the coronavirus. The nonprofit San Antonio Aware and Prepared over at St. Paul's Community Center handing out PPE and other cleaning supplies today. And while coronavirus vaccines have begun to roll out, health experts say it's no time to let our guard down. And members with the area nonprofit tell us it is crucial that everyone has the supplies needed to stay safe.
We need to wear our masks, and that's how we're going to get through this pandemic. Everybody needs to practice social distancing. I know it's hard, but we need to even keep distance with our family members. We need to do all that, and that's how we're going to get through this.
The PPE kits handed out today included face masks and sanitizer. The group says they plan to hold another distribution event in the future.
New at 6, no power, no gas, and so far no answer as to what started a house fire on the city's west side this morning just before lunchtime. Firefighters got the call to the 300 block of South San Felipe around 11:30. Crews say that flames were coming from the front windows when they got there. Putting out the fire did not take long, but firefighters tell us they had to deal with some things blocking the front door to get in. A man who lives there was home when that fire started, but he made it out okay. The house did not have any utilities turned on, so arson was brought in to investigate.
Fire investigators also trying to figure out what caused a shed in far South Bexar County to go up in flames. It happened early this morning in a neighborhood about 4 miles south of Loop 1604 and west of Pleasanton Road. It also threatened a home on Black Powder Street. But as Katrina Weber reports, it wasn't just the flames that posed a threat to people there, including some firefighters.
Even before they arrived, firefighters knew they'd have to battle smoke and flames. A Bexar County Sheriff's deputy who had gotten here first around 4:30 this morning reported a fire in full bloom. It had taken over a shed behind a home on Black Powder near Wilted Oak. What no one expected but soon found out was that there was ammunition inside it. And when it started going off, they had to stand back for safety. Still, they eventually managed to put out the fire. At one point, firefighters were worried that the flames might spread to this house. They evacuated everyone inside as a precaution, but in the end, they kept the flames from spreading. Fortunately, no one was hurt by the fire or the exploding ammunition. The shed, though, appeared to be destroyed. Investigators were left to sort through the rubble in the hope of figuring out how the fire started. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
A man who was hit and killed while crossing 410 on the northwest side over the weekend has been identified. According to San Antonio police, 31-year-old Daniel Pelez was crossing westbound lanes of Loop 410 near Bandera around 5 on Sunday morning when he was hit by a car. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Investigators say the driver pulled over and called for help after the crash. No charges are expected in connection with this accident.
Time saver traffic now. Let's take a look at the TransGuide camera here. This appears to be a zoomed in shot of Highway 281 at the quarry. The southbound lanes there. Looks like a truck with its hood up, stalled there on the side of the road for some reason. Doesn't really look like it is affecting traffic too much. No real tie-ups in that area that we can see from this view, but certainly something to note as drivers head that way. New at 6, several agencies across Bexar County are teaming up in the hopes of ending youth homelessness. Millions of dollars are being invested, from creating a mobile unit to help homeless youth to creating a housing program. Tiffany Huertas looks at the different projects that could change the lives of hundreds of young people in our community.
Although youth homelessness may not be as visible, it's still a huge issue in our community.
The South Alamo Regional Alliance for the Homeless, known as SARA, received a $6.8 million grant.
The funding is to create a local system that prevents and ends homelessness.
SARA has teamed up with 5 local agencies to launch the Youth Homelessness Demonstration Program.
Many of the programs are permanent housing programs where there's a case manager assigned to help youth and young adults stabilize in their housing, connect them to employment and education opportunities.
UTSA is launching a rapid rehousing program to support youth and young adults with a history of foster care who are pursuing post-secondary education and are experiencing or at risk of homelessness. Another partner agency is Roy Moss Youth Alternatives that is focusing on a mobile outreach project.
A mobile unit that actually goes out and meets youth and provides services where they are.
Youth will be evaluated for several things, including abuse, neglect, commercial labor, sexual exploitation, and mental health. Vela says the projects are at different stages, but we will see an impact next year.
I would say by the middle of 2021, these programs should be at capacity. So that'll mean a few hundred youth have moved into permanent housing, which is really exciting.
Tiffany Huertas, KSAT 12 News.
Live cam tonight, 68 degrees, beautiful Monday. Is this what the rest of the week holds in store for us, Adam?
It's a big week.
It is a huge week here. We've got Christmas coming down the pike, and we have a cold front that's going to hit us right before Christmas. Today we started out at 38, made it to 74. Cold front hits us on Wednesday. That'll drop temperatures for Christmas Eve and a little bit into Christmas Day. Now tonight we have the Great Conjunction. Actually, it's peaking in about, best time to see would be in about 20 minutes out there. Saturn and Jupiter are coming together in our line of sight from Earth. If you look to the southwest, you may see them in some breaks in the clouds. Unfortunately, we just have so many clouds out there right now that they're going to really inhibit the viewing of this astronomical event. Yesterday evening was great viewing. You'll be able to see it again as we get into Wednesday evening and even Christmas Eve, about 45 minutes after sunset. It's just right now they're the closest that they've been in our line of sight in 400 years. It's still going to be a good sight, though, for the next couple of days. Here's a look at our clouds. Unfortunately, not good timing for the Great Conjunction right now, but there are some breaks in those clouds, so you may see it in between the breaks. So give yourself some time to view it. 68 degrees out there right now, dew point of 26. Temperatures across the state, by and large, 60s, obviously some 50s and even a few 70s, but Laredo 72, Del Rio 71, and right now 64 in Pleasanton. Tomorrow morning, we'll wake up to readings in the 40s for most of us, but in the hill country, some upper 30s. We're thinking about 47 in San Antonio. Cotulla, as warm as 53 in the morning, and we'll have some fog to start the day as well. The fog should lift and burn off, and then we'll make it to about 70 degrees for the high temperature. But where you get a little extra sun, southwest of San Antonio down I-35, well into the 70s. We'll talk about that cold front and its effects on Christmas Eve coming right up.
Just a few days away from the holiday, and of course, our case counts continue to be very high throughout our area, and city and county leaders warning everyone ahead of any Christmas gatherings. Let's go live to City Hall for today's daily briefing.
San Antonio Metro Health, and this is our COVID-19 update for the San Antonio community. Tonight we're reporting yet another day of more than 1,000 new cases of COVID-19, 1,283 cases since today, which has pushed the 7-day moving average to 1,123. The total number of cases since the pandemic began is 103,447. Unfortunately, we also have 5 new deaths to report tonight, 3 Hispanic males in their 40s and 50s, a black female in her 80s, and a Hispanic female in her 90s. That brings the total deaths in our community to COVID-19 to 1,460. Please keep their family and friends in your prayers, as we do all of our colleagues and friends and neighbors who we've lost during this pandemic. The stress in our hospital system continues to increase as well. We have 889 COVID-19 patients in the hospitals tonight. That's up 23 from yesterday. Overnight, we had 109 admissions. We had 286 patients on ICU with COVID-19 and 146 on ventilators. It is Monday. Our warning and progress indicators show much of the same. Numbers are steadily increasing. Cases per 1,000 is up slightly to 51.2, and the positivity rate is up again, nearly 2 percentage points to 14.4%. We are, so you know, testing about 8,000 people per day now, which is very good, which means we are able to identify and trace and isolate cases quickly as this has unfolded. All told, the risk level in our community remains moderate but worsening. So let me turn it over now to Judge Wolf.
Well, thanks, Mayor, and you're right. It's getting worse and it's not going to get better. I think when you think about where we are, and I didn't expect it to get this bad, I must tell you, and I know it's going to get worse. You know, we ran into Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas coming, New Year's coming, and we literally have tens of thousands of people out there shopping, whether it's in a Target or a Walmart or a mall, and so I think that's part of it probably, because this is where we're headed. Could be worse than where we were this summer if things don't change. And I know it's about human behavior. I know that the vast majority of everybody tries to be very, very careful, but of course there's those that don't have a really high regard for other people. So it's a very dangerous time. Family gatherings, I know, you have to be very careful. So, you know, we're just going to take extra precautions over these next several days, or January we're going to be in really serious trouble. And it's unfortunate, you know, that just as we're getting the vaccines, that things are going bad for us, and it's kind of like rushing to the aid of someone and not quite getting there in time. And that's pretty much where we are with the vaccines, with what we're going to be facing. But we are moving forward. You know, the mayor and I were out at Bexar County Hospital District University Hospital as they started administering vaccines. At this point, we've given 2,000 already just to our employees. And then at the Robert B. Greene, they're giving vaccinations to EMS people with the fire department. So we're starting. We know Moderna, I guess, will be here next few days. Easier to transport, but I'm afraid that it's a little late in the game to save everybody, and we're just going to have to really be careful the next several days.
Thank you, Judge. And with the amount of virus that's out there, you should be forewarned and treat everyone you encounter that's not part of your household as if they had the infection. So wear your mask when you're out and about and within 6 feet of anyone. And that is a good rule of thumb, as we've been saying, the Public Health Authority has been saying from the very start. I do also want to give an update on the emergency that's happening within the pandemic, and that is on our inventory of blood. The inventory of type O blood, which is used in emergencies, has finally reached a 3-day supply, which means that we're at what's considered the minimum level for our community. But we're still lagging behind the 7-day supply of type O blood that is needed. And there are more challenges ahead. The last 2 weeks of September are the slowest time of year for blood donations, and this year the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center is projecting a shortfall of at least 30%. We have to turn that around to meet the needs of patients in our hospitals because the need for blood never ends. And our hospitals have more procedures scheduled than usual as they work to provide treatments that were postponed earlier this year. This week there's an increase in the number of transplant surgeries planned. There are liver transplants scheduled every day this week at local hospitals, and those are especially blood intensive. One of those patients is 20-year-old Hagen Hill, who is scheduled to receive her second liver transplant tomorrow. She and her family have worked tirelessly to encourage blood donations, and so I was one of a few folks today who were able to give blood in her honor. And we do wish Hagen and all the other patients in our hospitals a very speedy recovery. So if you're able, please help us keep the momentum going and schedule an appointment to donate. The South Texas Blood and Tissue Center has 6 donor rooms in the area and is holding several community blood drives this month. You can make an appointment at southtexasblood.org or schedule to give blood at University Hospital by calling 210-358-2812. And we know that many people are struggling throughout this pandemic, and we want you to know that the county and the city have assistance programs available for you. If you are in need of emergency housing assistance or looking for job training to get into a job, that is available for you safely right now. You can find more information on these programs by calling 311, or you can enroll in the job training program.
I didn't expect it to get this bad, and it's going to get worse. Those are the words from County Judge Nelson Wolf tonight, as we have 1,283 new cases, bringing the total to 103,447. The 7-day average remaining well over 1,000 per 24 hours at 1,123.
And the positivity rate here locally now up 2 percentage points to 14.4%. Of positive cases out of all the ones tested. 8,000 people are being tested every single day here in the city and in Bexar County. So that certainly is a good thing, definitely leading to more test results, but just shows you the need that's out there. 109 people admitted overnight to the hospital for COVID. And right now in the hospitals, we have 889 people who are currently fighting this illness.
Yep. Let's switch over to weather right now. Let's talk to Adam Caskey about some temperatures in a cold front and conjunctions.
Conjunctions and all of Steve's puns that have gone with the conjunctions off air.
There have been many, so many.
I just was worried that the clouds could cause a conjunction malfunction.
There we go. See,
you
we're
said
rhyming
off
here.
Air. You jinxed us. Now it's on air. Everyone's
maybe
welcome.
I did it on purpose, maybe or maybe not. All right, let's take a look at what the conjunction looked like yesterday evening. This was about 45 minutes after sunset, and we had a great view of it yesterday with our crisp, clear sky. We just have the clouds to deal with right now, but you can see Jupiter, the brighter of the two objects, and then Saturn just on top of it there, and also some of Jupiter's moons, where if you have a telescope, you may actually be able to see some of Jupiter's moons as well. All right, what we have right now is the cloud cover. The high clouds have been streaming in throughout the day. They made for a beautiful sunset, gorgeous, but unfortunately not good timing for the Great Conjunction, where the reason tonight's important is because it's really the closest point that the two planets will be within our line of sight during this conjunction, and it's the closest they've been in 400 years. So unfortunately, clouds get in the way. You can view it, though, again later this week when we clear out on Wednesday. It's just not going to be at their peak. Fog, that's going to be an issue tomorrow morning. If you have an early morning commute, anticipate areas of fog and reduced visibility. We have an influx of moisture tonight. It's going to saturate our air, and we do think we'll have visibilities down about 1 to 3 miles tomorrow morning, and even lower in some other places. But by the midday, say the noon hour, not a problem. So it's only going to be for the morning commute, and that's it. Look at temperatures right now. We're down into the 60s. Bernie is an exception at 55. Pleasanton 62 along with Canyon Lake, and 69 still in Helotes, Bandera 66, and still some lower 70s as you get closer to the Rio Grande. Tomorrow morning, we'll start the day well above freezing. We're going to be about 47 degrees. Most of us in the 40s to start the day. And then by the noon hour, about 61, up near 70 into the afternoon. And it's really going to be sunshine dependent. If we get rid of that fog a few hours earlier than anticipated, I think temperatures could reach well into the 70s. But most of us right around the 70-degree mark. Wednesday morning, near 60 and 73 Wednesday afternoon, but that's when a cold front hits. Wednesday, we'll start the day with drizzle. We'll have some afternoon sun, and the wind is going to pick up. Wednesday night, not a good night for the inflatables in the yard, unfortunately. It's going to be a gusty night up to 40 miles per hour. And then look at Thursday. Highs only in the upper 50s. Christmas morning, right at the freezing point, but a sunny and comfortable afternoon.
All right. Thanks, Adam.
All right, Greg, let me make sure I got this right. The Aggies lost to the #1 team in the country.
They sure did.
Their only loss.
That's it.
Notre Dame lost to the #2 team in the country this weekend.
That's correct.
But the Aggies still aren't in.
And Ohio State didn't play as many games. So you take a look at this. Aggie fans are not happy. Aggies are not happy. Were they robbed? The quick answer is yes. How are they reacting today? We'll let you know. And Texas returns to the Valero Alamo Bowl coming up.
This SA Salutes holiday greeting is brought to you by CPS Energy.
Happy holidays from your friends, neighbors, and families from CPS Energy. And special thanks to first responders, active duty military, and veterans. Have a wonderful holiday.
The Fighting Texas Aggies were robbed when they were let out of the college football playoffs this season. That's according to our poll taken last night on Instant Replay, where 63% of you said no. The College Football Selection Committee did not make the right call when they ranked the Aggies 5th. In fact, two coaches that will be participating in the playoffs both had the Aggies in. Alabama's Nick Saban and Clemson's Dabo Swinney. They both left out Ohio State because they didn't play enough games, and others argued Notre Dame should not have been included after they were blasted by Clemson 34-10, and that their win over the Tigers earlier was without Trevor Lawrence. Now the Aggies have to face North Carolina in the Orange Bowl January 2nd. They're lobbying for his team following the 34-13 win over Tennessee. Head coach Jimbo Fisher is ready to move on.
It's like having a bad play. You get disappointed for a minute, and then you play the next play. I mean, you move on. That's life. We've had a great opportunity. We've had a great year. We've done great things, and we put ourselves in a position to be in it, but we weren't. So now it's time to move on, and we're not. You wanted to be in it, but at the same time, we're in the Orange Bowl, man. We can progress, keep going, doing what we're doing, and everybody does that. But our players have moved on. They were excited when we announced that we were able to play in the Orange Bowl. They were very excited, knowing that A&M hadn't been there, and I couldn't tell them how many years. Now I know it's 77. I know it's pre-World War II. So, or somewhere in that range right in there. So it was pretty good.
All right, this was quarterback Kellen Mond's reaction when the playoffs were announced on Sunday. Not happy. For the second straight season, the Texas Longhorns have accepted a bid to play in the 2020 Valero Alamo Bowl, where they'll face Colorado in the Alamo Dome. This will be the Longhorns' 5th appearance in the Valero Alamo Bowl, defeating number 11 Utah 38-10 last year. And this appears to be the final college game for senior quarterback Sam Ehlinger, who, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, has the option to return next season after being named the 2019 Valero Alamo Bowl Offensive MVP.
Bittersweet. I think we're all excited to send him out or attempt to send him out and all of the seniors that will be leaving our program out with another bowl victory. But Sam has done so much for this program, both inside the locker room and in the community of Austin and for this university. So It will be bittersweet, no doubt about it, but I'm going to savor every last practice, every last minute I have with this great group of seniors.
The Alamo Bowl will be played on December the 29th at 8 p.m. and due to the COVID restrictions, there will be very limited seating for the game. Only 11,000 allowed in attendance. The UTSA Roadrunners are going bowling even though they had to switch bowl games and opponents after SMU had to bail out of the Frisco Bowl due to COVID concerns. The Roadrunners accepted a bid to play in the Serve Pro First Responders Bowl that ironically will be played on the SMU campus this Saturday. They found out their opponent on Sunday, the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana Lafayette, who finished the regular season 9-1, face off against the Roadrunners, who went 7-4, 5-2 in Conference USA. For UTSA, they're happy to be in a bowl game for only the second time in program history after having to work it out on 3 different opponents.
Frustrating at times, and we spent a lot of time, on SMU and a lot of time on Marshall and a lot of time on UTSA. So we just finally get to go in there and study somebody and get to work. I asked them all; they had one more in them, and all my coaches said they had one more in them, so we're good to go.
And you can see the Roadrunners in action live on KSAT 12 Saturday at 2:30. The All-Conference USA team announced today. 19 players made it, and 4 on the first team, including Sincere McCormick and Rashad Wisdom. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Thank you, Greg.
We'll be right back.
What a year 2020 has been, and now as we're facing the prospect of vaccinations, how are people feeling about the COVID-19 vaccines? It's something that the Fairfax KSAT San Antonio Report poll has tracked, at least it did a few months ago, and we are joined by Lisa Baratachea, who is with Fairfax. Lisa, thank you for joining us. What did the polling show of Bexar County residents when it comes to vaccines?
Hi, Steve. It's good to be with you. So when we last polled in September, we learned that 63% of people were likely to take the vaccine. And when we asked them if they would take it this year, the number dropped to 50%. So it was, in terms of their confidence level with it being rushed, there was less confidence in a rushed vaccine, although there was willingness to take the vaccine. And 63% said that they would be willing to take it. And I spoke to Dave Metz today, and he said that number is still pretty much true. Between 25 and 33% of people are still unwilling to take it. So that means that the rest of people are willing to take it.
You broke that likelihood of people willing to take the vaccine down by ethnicity. And from what I saw, there weren't any huge percentage swings among different ethnic groups here locally. What does that say to you?
Well, I think that there is so much angst and worry. People have been affected by this disease. It's become very personal. I found out this morning that my in-laws in the Valley tested positive. So I think that there is a willingness. People know that people have been impacted, and I think that there is a willingness to do something about it. It's the economy's hurting, people are hurting, it's holidays, there's lots of concern, and I think just from an everyday perspective, this pandemic is just something so extraordinary for our time. And I think seeing, there needs to be campaign around it. There needs to be education around it, saying what exactly it is, how it works. I know that I've read some great articles about how it works. I think we just need to learn about how people are going to get, how the vaccine is going to be distributed, and continue putting the right people in front of the camera saying this is the right thing to do, I think makes a huge difference.
You study a lot of policy from San Antonio, Texas, in the United States. I mean, obviously this is a challenge for the leaders out there to sell the fact that this is a vaccine that I think more than anything is safe and effective.
Yes. And I think that that's just going to come over time, right? People, how do we trust this thing? Operation Warp Speed. We don't usually see government moving very fast. So this is new for us to see that we were able to. This came to the United States. There was swift action taken by the government funded private sector research and development, and here it is before the end of the year is out, that it's accessible to people in our community. And so I think that there's an uneasiness because of the speed at which we've received it. However, we also know that it's real and it's impacting our friends, our neighbors, our parents, our grandparents. So I think that there's a willingness from people to take advantage of the science.
You talk about government. Government leaders have been a huge part of the messaging throughout the 9 months of this campaign. The poll has looked at how the approval ratings for both the San Antonio mayor and the Bexar County judge have fared throughout the pandemic. Were there any real big changes that you all noted?
Well, so interesting that the numbers from our first poll, which was in February, they were good in the upper 50s. And then we saw the numbers skyrocket in April because of really the swift action and the leadership that they took on being on camera, having clear, concise messages to our community. So the numbers soared into the 70s. And then we've seen it, I think what I could say maybe come back into normal, still high, still in the 60s, but we saw that for the mayor and for the judge. And we saw a similar trend for the city and the county as collectives, not as high, I might add, as the specific elected officials, but that's pretty typical that when you poll someone individually, those numbers tend to be better than as a collective.
All right, Lisa, we have about 20 seconds left. Look into your crystal ball for 2021. Obviously, we're still going to be dealing with coronavirus and the vaccines, but what do you think are maybe one other major story out there that we should be looking at?
Well, there's so many, Steve. So I would say, just costs, right? The education is going to be huge. What is this pandemic doing to kids, to their schooling? Will it have a ripple effect? At higher education, the cost of higher education, the cost of healthcare, how is that going to impact? And then, of course, we see this disparity with income equality. I think that disparity number will continue to be a story throughout 2021. There's be a new administration. What does that mean for taxes? How does that fare for everyday working people? So I think that those stories, and of course, locally, our referendum in May and a mayoral election, the referendums for CPS Energy, I think is going to be a major, and SAWS will be major issues for our community in the new year.
We all wish we had that 2021 crystal ball, right?
Yeah, I know I had to limit you to just one, but I'm glad you got more than one in there because it is a ripple effect. Lisa Baratichea with Fairfax. Look forward to the polling in the new year. Thank you for joining us. Have a great holidays.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
We'll be right back. Here are what will be the most viewed numbers in the country in less than 2 weeks. The 2021 numerals for New York's New Year's Eve celebration arrived in Times Square today. They're 7 feet tall and will light up at midnight on December 31st, January 1st.
Yeah. Along with the ball drop, the numbers are one of the most notable parts of the celebration. Something else that's notable, the massive crowds will not be in Times Square this year. It'll be closed to the public, but as in years past, it will include live performances. And so I think maybe they should have the old 2020 numbers and they should auction off the ability to sledgehammer the old 2020.
Shatter them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
People would get some satisfaction out of that.
Throw it in a real dumpster fire. How about that?
There you go. Perfect.
That'd be ideal. All right, so we actually have some clouds streaming overhead out there. Not the best evening to view the great conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter, but we'll have some good viewing again by Wednesday evening. You'll still be able to see it. Temperatures right now we're at 68 degrees and we're slowly just going to fall down into the 50s later this evening with the mostly cloudy skies. A cold front's going to hit on Wednesday. That'll impact our Christmas Eve a bit. So we're going to talk about that and much more coming right up.
All right, it's not Thursday, but it doesn't have to be for another ornament. Is that right, Adam?
That's right. I mean, it's that time of year. I've been really cranking these ornaments out. I love it, love it, love it. Love Christmas 2021 more than ever. We need to be giving more and making people happy. All right, so we have a new thermometer winner. This will be the third of the day. Lance Hildebrand of San Antonio.
Lance.
The winner of a homemade thermometer ornament. You can go to ksat.com/thermometer to enter the drawing. I give away at least 2 per day, but it's really just through about Wednesday of this week. So time is, the clock is ticking here. Take a look at our sky. Okay, I want to show you these clouds that have been streaming overhead this afternoon and now into the evening, inhibiting our view of the Great Conjunction. However, giving us a beautiful and picturesque sunset. 38 degrees was our temperature this morning, the high of 74. And in between the clouds, you'll still be able to see the Great Conjunction out there of Jupiter and Saturn in our line of sight, but it's just not ideal viewing like it was yesterday evening. Across the nation, the activities all around the Mid-Atlantic and even the Great Lakes area far to the north. Around here, we just have this plume of moisture up above us, mid and upper level moisture that's been causing these clouds to increase through the day. I love these clouds. Don't get me wrong. I just don't love the timing of them. I love them because they give us those beautiful sunsets and even sunrises. One thing you'll notice tomorrow morning, low gray clouds. Visibility starting to fall off as we get into the morning, especially by about sunrise. Visibility anywhere from 1 mile to 3 miles. So anticipate areas of fog to be developing toward sunrise tomorrow morning, toward dawn. And then by the noon hour at the latest, visibility will be just fine. But I think we'll have a decent amount of clouds hanging around throughout the day. So temperatures now in the 60s. It's a comfortable evening. Not too humid out there. Temperatures in the 60s. Actually, you don't feel the humidity at all. 57 though now in Bulverde, 59 in Kerrville and Stinson measuring 63. Still hanging on to 71 in Cotulla and Del Rio. So tomorrow morning, low temperatures, upper 30s in parts of the hill country, but most of us will be well into the 40s. So at sunrise with the fog, temperatures in the 40s, 46 Hondo, 46 New Braunfels, about 53 even in Victoria, and 47 for the low in San Antonio. Then by the afternoon, with some breaks in the clouds, I think we'll be right around the 70-degree mark. However, if that fog really burns off quicker than expected, such as south of San Antonio, you get a little more sunshine, you'll be well into the 70s. So tomorrow's all sunshine dependent. Bottom line, it's still going to be a comfortable and pleasant afternoon. With just that partial sunshine, a southeasterly breeze at 5 to 10. There's a little influx of moisture tonight, but you're really not going to be feeling it much tomorrow in terms of some added humidity. That humidity gets swept away again with the cold front on Wednesday. Wednesday, probably early afternoon, we're expecting that cold front. Still making it to 73 on Wednesday, so still another mild day. After some morning drizzle, the cold front hits, gets rid of all the clouds and the humidity, and that makes it really a cool Christmas Eve. We're looking at a morning temperature of 34. I won't be surprised if we even hit freezing on Christmas Eve. And then a high of only 58 despite a lot of sunshine. And Christmas Day, right at the freezing point, Christmas morning, but then sunny and comfortable, making it into the mid-60s. So nothing like the record-breaking Christmas we had in the past, several decades ago when we were over 90 degrees. Now, sunny and average, 60s.
All right, thanks, Adam.
In case you missed it, coming up next.
Here's today's In Case You Missed It.
And good morning to you, everyone. Hope you had a great weekend. It is Monday. It is December 21st.
Police say someone drove up to the home, then someone inside that vehicle pulled out a gun and started shooting. Officers found bullet holes in front of the house, as well as multiple shell casings on the street. The victim was taken to the hospital, but should be okay.
After months of stalemate on Capitol Hill, economic relief is finally in sight for millions of Americans.
More help is on the way.
Lawmakers striking an 11th hour, $900 billion COVID relief deal, tying the plan to a larger spending bill that will avoid a government shutdown.
And just like that, there you see it. Our future president is vaccinated. President-elect Joe Biden and First Lady Dr. Jill Biden both received the Pfizer vaccine in Wilmington, Delaware this morning. Biden stressing that this is, quote, just the beginning of the vaccination process. Meanwhile, the very first vials of America's second COVID-19 vaccine are here. Nearly 6 million doses of the Moderna vaccine making their way to more than 3,700 locations in all 50 states.
In Europe, a new variant of COVID-19 is surging, leading to flight bans and other restrictions. Here at home, there's now concern about how the new vaccines and other drugs previously rolled out will respond to this new strand. Dr. Douglas Denham, who oversaw Pfizer and Moderna vaccine trials at Clinical Trials of Texas here, says he's not alarmed by news of the variant because all viruses mutate. He says right now this strand does not seem to be more deadly, but it does seem to be easier to transmit. You would think the week of Christmas we would be getting days dedicated to gingerbread houses, building a snowman, something like that. But no, today is National Crossword Puzzle Day. Nothing to do with the holidays at all, but there's a good reason for it.
Yeah, according to National Day calendar, English journalist Arthur Wynne appears to have invented the word game. The first one appeared in the New York World newspaper on December 21st, 1913, 107 years ago today. Now, millions of people around the world enjoy crossword, maybe even more so on the day that honors them.
You into crosswords, Caskey?
Not so much. My mom, though, she's really good at them. It keeps her mind sharp, as she says. Ever since she retired and all, she's got to keep your mind sharp, and that's what she does, the crossword puzzle.
I'm sorry, you just made me laugh. Not so much.
It's not my
Producer Bill, who produces this show, his words with friends. Stuff,
oh, yeah.
Stuff of legend.
Okay, but the problem is people always cheat on that. It's easy to cheat. There's ways to cheat.
You saying Bill cheats?
Hey, we're going to have a cold front hit on Wednesday, and it's going to be breezy Wednesday night into Thursday morning, cooler Thursday morning.
Somebody's honor just got questioned.